My identity was quite lost. An auntie comes up to me and says, I'm praying for you, Mangwata Godaka Adare. I don't take that lightly. So when I was a kid, I was also abused by a distant family member. When I was a kid, I'm not gonna lie, I have beat up a few boys just because they called me a girl. I'm like, what did you say to me?
You just called me a girl?
Yeah, what did you say? Say to my face. I had issues.
Yeah.
I had issues. Either you're nervous, you walk there and you embarrass your country, or you think you're the hottest thing out there. Imagine everyone who's screaming Venezuela, Puerto Rico is actually screaming Sri Lanka. So I was tied up and locked in a cupboard. So when I was going on stage at the swimsuit round, I was so nervous because this 2-in-1 thing happened just before I went on stage.
Yeah. Welcome back to Power Moves. It's a brand new episode, and today I have a very dynamic personality joining me in the studio for Power Moves. She is very energetic on and off the stage, and she has been working towards social betterment and also supporting Sri Lanka, taking Sri Lanka to the globe. And I'm sure throughout this conversation you will hear most of her achievements, and we are proud and honored to have with us today Stephanie Siriwardhana, the one and only. Stephanie, welcome on Power Moves.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, and I appreciate being here, and thank you for the lovely introduction.
Indeed.
I don't feel very energetic. My eyes are still like I need a little.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us despite being somewhat on the ill side.
Yes.
Nevertheless, she has turned up for the podcast. So, Stephanie, getting straight into it, let's talk about your early life and how that shaped your identity. I would say that you are a cross-culture kid.
Yes.
And though you're Sri Lankan, you lived abroad for most of your life. And taking all of that into account, how did that shape your identity and your outlook of the world?
I think that's a very interesting question. Sorry, 1 second. It's a very interesting question because identity is the key word. My identity, I was quite lost for a while.
I see. Why do you say that?
Because you see, identity is such a big word, right? And people tend to take labels and put them together, and that's your identity.
Yeah.
But what happens when you have too many labels, number one? And so my mom is Lebanese-Italian-Portuguese. My dad is Sri Lankan. I was born in Kuwait.
Okay.
So I remember thinking, so where exactly am I from? And then I realized it's not a piece of paper, it's where your heart is.
Yeah.
And so I think identity is still, and also your identity is also shaped by your childhood traumas.
What you experience as a child.
What you experience, because many times you will have safety mechanisms or reflexes and reactions which come based on being triggered by your trauma. And then you think it's just part of your personality. Oh, I don't like to sing, or I don't like to do this, I don't like to do that. But it's because somebody like yelled at you when you were a kid, when you were singing, and you're like, oh, I can't sing, so you never sung again. So it's...
You carried that trauma with you.
Yeah, of course. So identity, that took me a while to figure out. And my heart is, I'm Sri Lankan. And also it's a constant effort to be self-reflective, to kind of look at all the beliefs you have, first the labels you have.
Certainly.
Right? Like, oh, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert, or I like this, I don't like this. I'm someone who does X, Y, Z. And the thing is, sometimes it's so convenient for us to just say something once and then go with it.
Yeah.
Or hear people tell you you are something and believe it. Or... So you really need to find out, when did I start believing this about myself? Why did I start believing it about myself? And is it true?
Okay.
And then based on that, you kind of find out who you
So
are.
does that border on maybe soul searching?
Yeah, soul searching, self-reflection,
But
whatever you want.
Is there a specific age or a period of time that you really thought, okay, this is what I'm going to be identified as? Or are you still figuring it out? Even after all the accolades you've done, after all
changing.
Okay.
I mean, that's the beauty of being human.
Then never stick to one archetype.
Yeah, I mean, I remember first when I started my career,
Okay.
people be like, so you're a host? I'm like, yeah, and I sing and I dance and I this. And then the people be like, but what do you do? Like, so what are you?
Yeah.
And
Why are you
people
not
just
a banker or a
no,
lawyer?
yeah, or people just expect you to do one thing. And I think on one side it's my ADHD. I cannot do just one
Okay.
thing. I like to do everything.
Multiple things. Yeah.
Multiple things. And so it's not just one thing. And humans are multifaceted.
Yeah.
And our interests and everything keep changing. And you see, people have bought into the narrative that you only need to do one thing because of the way the education system is structured. So back in the day, like in the time of Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, where education first came to life, right? It was about existentialism.
Yes.
It was about, you learned physics to learn about how your body worked. You learned about, biology to know how your body worked, physics, chemistry. It was to learn the world around you, you know, and it was to know. It was, literally to know why. Why are things the way they are? And then capitalism came in, and then education became very structured around, you know, careers and money, and this is what you're going to do earning your money. And so now if you look at our education system, it's all towards that. So it goes towards one stream. So, but I think this new generation is understanding that it's not about one thing. Humans are so multifaceted, and that's the beauty of being human. Like, you have the luxury to just say, you know what, I have this passion and I'm going to go for it.
Amazing.
You can define yourself in different ways. I think that was a very long-winded, not complete answer. But
no, that's perfectly fine. I'm pretty sure that our viewers will be able to dissect and take the parts of it.
I think to answer your first question of how the fact that I lived in many countries shaped my identity, I think it allowed me to question the system.
Okay.
It taught me to think outside the box.
Right.
And to have critical thinking.
Okay.
Which is something that I find is very big in Canada, North America. Like, question the system. Why are things the way they are? Is there a way to do things better?
Yeah.
Don't just accept things the way they are. And I think challenge the system and challenge yourself.
Right.
So I think that really shaped
who you are
my
today.
My core principles is I always see how can I do things better. Like, every day I ask myself, how can I improve? How can I be better? Like, what are the things that are no longer serving me? So critical thinking is so important. You know? So I think that definitely unlocked a freedom of sorts.
Great. So you spoke about Canada. Canada is where your academic journey took place, right? So like you mentioned, you're multifaceted, and your academics, like your educational background, is also multifaceted. You've been studying journalism, communications, political science, so on. So it's just, to a neutral person, it might look like a mishmash of everything. But when you really look at it, journalism, communications, political science, all of this is interconnected. So in the overall view of things, how did education influence the way you approach multiple roles today, as a host, as a singer, a dancer?
I think education is everything, Jama. Like, you have to keep educating yourself. The world is moving at such a fast pace. I just started, last year, I founded a Web3 company in the blockchain space, on-chain. A fantastic co-founder. So you have to keep educating yourself. If not, you're going to get left behind.
Get with the times as well.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, when I was in uni, I was a senator and a governess of my university. I was also in the student union.
Okay.
I managed $250,000 when I was, 19 years old.
Right.
And
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So,
so you've never been one to shy away.
I'll tell you one thing. I have a philosophy that you have to say yes to life and fake it till you make it. Because I love taking challenges. So I remember when I was first elected, like, I didn't even do a campaign yet. I got these roles and I could have easily said no, but I said yes. And then I made sure, sleepless nights, educating myself, learning how best practices, figuring out how people did it before me, learning what I had to show up. And that kind of defined how I do things.
Okay.
So
what drove you to be that disciplined?
My mom. My mom is currently, she's what, 66, 67, and she just enrolled to do her MBA. So she's studying. Oh yeah, my mom. She's an innovator. She's the one who first started with my dad. Actually, she's the one who first did the database for the tourism board. She digitalized stuff for them and put structures for them. She started one of the first intellectual daycares, which was a fun club system. She was one of the pioneers of the first magazine that came out in Sri Lanka, which was the Link magazine, which was a magazine for expatriates. So she and this other lady.
Right.
So she was talking about VR and about what's that stuff? Yeah, VR and stuff.
Yeah.
Way before it even became a thing. So she's constantly educating herself. She's a go-getter.
Yeah.
She also has ADHD.
So that imprint was left on you.
Of course. And you know, that you just learn by example. You know, if your parents read, the kids are gonna read.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. So
wow, okay, great. So hats off to mom and dad.
Exactly. They're both so innovative, and they've gone to so many different industries. At one point they were the ones who were training every person who wanted to go from Sri Lanka to Italy to work. So they would train them in Italian. My mom created an Italian course where you read, write, and speak Italian in 30 hours. It's her IP. Okay. Like, she facilitated
it's like hacks. A crash course.
Yeah, exactly. And my dad was working and is working. It's one of the only gas cylinder steel manufacturing factories in the island.
Right.
So they're very dynamic individuals.
So it's a good mix of industrial, academics, and so many other aspects coming together.
And so that's why I decided, I did my master's recently in business psychology.
Okay.
And Dushyant and I were just talking yesterday about, I was like, I want to do my PhD.
Right.
And I have a topic in mind, which is, of course, centered around the prisons and transformation.
Later,
yes. I just wish I had more time. I wish the day had more than 24 hours.
Okay. That's amazing to hear. So talking about milestones in your career, when it comes to pageantry.
Oh, yes.
What was the highlight?
Meeting all the fantastic women from around the world and also getting to know myself better. I was a huge activist. I had a lot of insecurities as a kid because I've gone through a lot of trauma as a child, which we've spoken about in quite a few interviews now.
Right. Which we won't get to here.
Yeah, actually, I did it with Rinas.
Ah, okay. Yes, it's the single version of our podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, no, it was in, yes, you're right. I think I was speaking mostly English. That's why I was like, it wasn't Sinhala.
That's okay. That's how the format is.
And so I had a time where my identity was lost and I didn't know how to embrace my femininity, how to be a quote-unquote girl or a woman. Okay. And so I learned a lot about myself and that it wasn't a bad thing. Okay. Like, I mean, when I was a kid, I'm not gonna lie, I have beat up a few boys just because they called me a girl. I'm like, what did you say to me?
You just called me a girl?
What did you say? Say to my face. Like, I had issues. Yeah. I had issues.
It's okay. Hopefully you won't be punching anyone today.
Yeah. No, I'm much calmer.
Yeah. So that's what really defined you when it comes to pageantry, and of course
it gave me a platform.
Winning Miss Universe Sri Lanka 2011.
Yes, it really did. I was so grateful because, it's like you represent 21 million people and that sash, which is made of this beautiful ribbon, is so light, but it's so heavy because there's so much responsibility.
You're carrying the hopes,
the image,
aspirations of so many people.
And the image of your country. Like, you slip up one thing, it's not easy to do, and that's why I'm so proud of all our Miss Sri Lankas who've done us so proud. And also Sabina right now, she did such a fantastic job. Amazing, so socially aware, so well spoken, and her husband is such a support system to her, and beautiful hearts. So I mean, we have so many such beautiful people representing our country so passionately and so well. So
you said that you were carrying the expectations of 21 million people. It's just not just a pretty face going out there showing your skills and talents to the world. What did that, because that I view that in a form of leadership, because you're giving leadership to your country, you're being the leader in that particular industry, going forward, representing your country. What did that teach you about leadership and self-expression that you couldn't learn through academics or professional setting?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah,
what did I learn about leadership?
Yeah.
I think it was, so when you train for a pageant, yes, you have so many people helping you, but it's self-leadership.
Yeah, because
you have to be
self-disciplined.
Yeah, self-disciplined, self-motivated, and trust me, like you're insecure, and there are days like where, I mean, I remember being in line behind, I think was it Norway and Sweden. They were side by side, and they're like super tall, and both of them were there, and both of them together were the size of my hips.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm a 2-in-1. And I was so nervous.
Yeah, it can be a bit unnerving.
Yeah, because I was never the skinny Miss Sri Lanka. So,
and you're surrounded by Miss Universes from so many other countries.
Yeah. So it's so easy for you to try to compare yourself, like I did in that moment. But it taught me about mental strength. It taught me that you will attract what you believe, number one. And number two, that if you sort out your mind, you can literally do anything. It's like Michael Jackson says, be careful what you say because the lie becomes the truth. So when I was going on stage at the swimsuit round, I was so nervous because this 2-in-1 thing happened just before I went on stage.
Yeah.
And I had 2 options. I literally spoke to myself. I said, Stephanie, you have 2 options. Either you're nervous, you walk there and you embarrass your country, or you think you're the hottest thing out there. Imagine everyone who's screaming Venezuela, Puerto Rico is actually screaming Sri Lanka. And what are your strengths? I'm a dancer. So I'm gonna pretend this is not a pageant.
Yeah.
This is a dance show.
Yeah.
I'm just performing. This is something I'm used to. I got this. And I just put all my focus on the music and not on the show of this is a beauty pageant. I am being judged. I kind of took that all out, totally hyped myself up, did a fantastic spin. I showed up because life doesn't stop for you. You have to show up when life demands it of you.
Yeah.
And obviously when I went to the other side of the stage, I was like jelly.
Yeah.
But
then you managed to pull it off.
Exactly.
You put on a show.
It shows you how to show up. And I think when you are able to do that yourself, then you can lead a team because you lead by example where they see you showing up in spite of what may be happening inside or your shortcomings or whatever. And they will take that as an example and also try to emulate that, I think. And that's a good
mindset to be.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, you gave me the perfect segue to my next question because I was going to ask you about being in the right headspace.
Okay.
They say success happens when preparation meets opportunity. Right? Success often happens when preparation meets opportunity. But if you're not prepared when the opportunity arises, or if you don't get the opportunity when you're prepared, success won't come about. But you had to be prepared and you were presented the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
But some might get cold feet at the 11th hour.
Yeah.
So for anyone who is watching, for anyone who might be insecure about themselves, about what they're doing, about their skills, or in life in general, how can someone calm themselves down when they're at a pivotal
I am so glad you asked this question because we actually, my foundation, the Infinite Grace Foundation, has embarked on a national mental health campaign called I See You, not Intensive Care Unit, but I See You.
I See You.
The first thing is it's to reflect and see yourself. So I'm sure some people may have seen mirrors around malls in Gaul, around Jaffna. We had mirrors everywhere.
Country.
Yeah.
Around the island, not just centered around Colombo.
The island with a mirror for you to see yourself. So it's about truly seeing who you are and then also seeing the humanness in you to say, I see you. So we are talking about one, of course, like you just mentioned, self-regulation. What does anxiety look like in your body? What does depression look like? What happens if you're neurodivergent? How are you as a single mom, postpartum? Let's say you're diagnosed with, a disease.
Particular illness, yes.
A disease, like how does that your mental health play a role in that? We're covering so many vast topics, and self-regulation is so important. It's something I didn't know for a long time. I was in intense therapy and I learned all of this stuff, and now I'm also studying to be a life coach and get certified as an NLP practitioner. So first breathe. I would say if you're in a situation, breathe. Because we go through fight, flight or freeze. Those are panic
responses.
Panic responses. And you need to get your brain working back at your prefrontal cortex. And in order to do that, first you need to breathe. I think everything starts with breath. Life is breath. So
deep.
I mean, there are many other things that we're doing. We're actually doing something for Women's Day as well. Hopefully at Vihar Mahadevi Park, I'll let you know.
You'll get to know.
So come join us. We have amazing panels. We have about 20 fun panels happening. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Island-wide. It's a sickness. Happening island-wide. 30 school discussions, carnivals, so much stuff happening.
Right. Amazing. So, because we're talking about social impact and advocacy on your part, you spoke about your foundation, the Infinite Grace Foundation, but you've also recently been appointed as a member of the Prison Monitoring Board. And before you were appointed, you've been working for decades with Sri Lanka's prison system.
12 years.
12 years, exactly, more than a decade, helping prison oversight, reintegration, supporting inmates, particularly female inmates as well. Talk to us a bit about that journey.
Sure. So at first it started with just charity.
Right.
Like giving them stuff.
Okay.
And then I realized it wasn't so sustainable.
Okay. What was the genesis? Why did you feel like you need to support the prison system?
This
is all about tough questions.
Yes, I mean, I've answered it before, but so when I was a kid, I was also abused by a distant family member. And so I was tied up and locked in a cupboard, which made me, I mean, it took me a long time to heal from it, obviously. Did many years with my therapist, who is the head therapist of the ICU campaign. And Prithika. And then I think I always resonated with people being locked up and forgotten, because I know what it's like to feel alone, to feel forgotten, to feel invisible. And I don't think any human should feel that way, no matter what. Good people do bad things all the time. And
that makes us human.
Exactly. It's our humanness. And you and I maybe could have reacted the same way if our circumstances and variables were the same. And they're paying for their crime already. But I truly believe, I mean, I'm a Christian. I'm far from perfect as a human being, made so many mistakes in my life. And God is merciful and given me the opportunity to transform my own life. So I feel that has to be extended to everybody.
You're extending that olive branch to others.
Of course, it has to be. It has to be. Because when you hear the stories of prisoners, and I have heard many, yes, they've done wrong things and they're paying for it, and as they should, because we have a legal system for a reason. But some are victims of circumstance. Some are people who didn't have love as children and were lost and didn't know any other way. We have one guy, he's a genius. He has created with scraps machines to do carpentry. We've, and we've worked with him, and I was talking to him, and I said, why, why did this happen? He said, I didn't have parents who showed me anything better. And he got into crime to pay for his education. So anyway, he has another 20 years.
But that's how circumstances have shaped someone's life.
I mean, of course, it's also choices. We all have our free will to make choices.
Certainly.
And that's why it's so important to choose your circle of friends properly.
Life
You know,
advice.
the saying,
Important life
the
advice.
saying is, tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. Choose your friends wisely. Don't compromise on values and principles. Know who you are. Know who you are. You'll never know who you are in terms of your labels. Your labels may keep changing, you know. But your box, that's your values, your principles, your ethics, how you conduct yourself, that should be a non-negotiable. Like, know what it is. Take the time, maybe a few months, a year. Once you know it, that is your code. Do not break that code. And that's a surefire way to stay on the right path, no matter what life throws at you. Because life is going to beat the, I can't say the word I want
that
to.
out of you.
Yes. It does to everybody. I know everyone here watching has their story. Everyone here is a hero of their story. They have suffered. Everyone has probably had a moment where they go to lock themselves in a room or a bathroom and cry their hearts out. Man, woman, child, it's human.
It's universal.
So just have those principles and just have faith that whatever you're going through, it's a season, and whatever keeps whacking you from left, right, if you have a good circle, they'll hold you while you can barely hold yourself. And if temptation and all comes, like whether it's to rob, to steal, to kill, to whatever it is, there may be times you falter. Don't judge yourself on that. Good people do bad things all the time. But have your values and try to solidify it as your foundational core principles.
Great.
And that'll help you.
Right. So, again, you gave me the perfect segue
to
my next question.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. But
sorry, my brain's foggy today.
No, that's fine. It's perfectly fine. I feel like you're bringing out your best work yet.
Oh, wow.
Talking about blocking out the noise, staying grounded and true to your principles. When the initial information of you being appointed as a member of the prison monitoring committee came out, nowadays social media can be a force for good or bad, and public discourse is dominated through social media. There were amazing reactions to it, and there were also
not so
amazing reactions to it. There was criticism. Why is she being appointed? And when I saw some of the news, I did my research, and then I thought to myself, these people are just misinformed. They don't know the amount of work you've been doing behind the scenes, although you haven't been publicly talking about it.
No.
Just that doesn't mean that you haven't been doing it. So for someone who is in the public eye constantly, how do you keep yourself grounded and shut out the noise whenever something negative comes your way?
I think my grounding comes from God, because I know and I believe I am everything I am because of Him. And He has put me on this path for a purpose, which I very humbly want to do the best way I can. And I want to make sure that I fulfill that purpose with and this is every religion. Every religion tells you to love your neighbor, to be humble, to extend forgiveness to people, to be compassionate. So I just try to live by those principles, and I'm so grateful. You have no idea. Every time someone comes and asks me for a selfie, or an auntie comes up to me and says, I'm praying for you, Mangwata Godak Adare, I don't take that lightly. An auntie comes up to me and says, I'm praying for you, Mangwata Godak Adare, I don't take that lightly. I've done nothing. They probably don't even know me. And I have done nothing to deserve such love. They have given so freely to me. So for me, that's a huge responsibility, and I value that. And I do my best, as humanly best as I can, to not disappoint, and to carry that love with respect and honor, and appreciate them even loving me in the first place. They don't have to. People have been so kind to me. Like when I was doing Voice Teens, like people could have been so mean because my Sinhala wasn't so good, but instead they chose to be kind to me, to accept me, to encourage me, to, sometimes people come and teach me new words, to be a part of my learning journey.
It's safe to say you carved out your own persona there.
I mean...
Because people were very endeared towards you when you were doing that. Even with the vocabulary you had, people didn't use it as a force to discriminate you, but rather to see someone who is actually challenging herself to do something that's out of her comfort zone,
Yeah,
right?
they were so kind to me. They didn't have to. They could have easily
Yeah.
thrown stones at me.
Yeah.
But they chose to be kind and love me, and I love them. I love every single one
Yeah.
of those people, and I value that a lot, and I feel very blessed, very blessed.
So
it
I
gives
wish-
me a lot of fire
Fire
to do what I do.
to do what you do. This conversation is amazing, but unfortunately, we're coming towards the end of it. But
Sure.
I must ask you this question because you spoke about the fans and the people who come up to you and speak to you
Yeah.
and wish you well.
Or message me, or
You have, especially among young Sri Lankans, you have a very wide audience.
yeah.
So when that comes into your head, knowing that you have such a large platform, especially young people looking up to you, how do you manage the responsibility of influence?
So that's exactly why I started the ICU campaign. I had my own mental health journey. It was very hard. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Lots of tears, depression, got suicidal, all of it, all of the above. But there was a light at the end of the tunnel. I fell in love with myself. Finally, after years, it was so nice. But then the suicides of Nelum Kulina and Altair happened, and it broke my heart because they were so young
Yeah.
to be in such darkness. And I thought, I'm a corporate trainer, and also I've been trained by life.
Right.
I learned a lot through living experience. And I thought I have to share this somehow. I need to. At first, I started writing a journal, which I plan to publish for anyone who ever feels like they're alone, to feel like they have a best friend. And Aki Steph is with you. So don't worry, I've been there. You got this. You're amazing. Go look at yourself in
You
the
can
mirror.
always find solace
Like
in
a
it.
pep talk. Like and each month we talk about, like, you know, anxiety, depression, self-regulation, manifestation, calming your negative inner voice, because these are all things I had to do.
And topics that are often considered taboo here.
Yes, I mean, these are things I learned.
Yeah.
I had a terrible negative inner voice that would
These are
tell
all
me,
first-hand experiences.
yes, that would tell me that I couldn't do anything, you know, and I had to battle it. And I've learned how to overcome that, and I share that, you know, and then it started with the journal. Then after that, one thing led to another. I was like, oh, no, we need to actually go to schools and speak, you know. Then we need to actually have panel discussions with experts, because I can't do everything. And there are amazing organizations already doing this.
Yeah.
We need to support them to do what they do. And we want to market all the amazing work that they do, so that people have awareness as to all the fantastic organizations working, whether it's in sexual abuse, domestic violence. You know, I recently found out that leprosy is still a thing in Sri Lanka. I did not know. And there's such a high depression and suicide rate when people get diagnosed, but it's curable. And, you know, whether you're autistic, Down syndrome, you know, on the spectrum, you know, it's just, we want to highlight everyone. And I believe in collaboration. I mean, competition is healthy, but you can only go really far with collaboration. Reinventing the wheel serves nobody. In my opinion. So why, if you're already doing something really good, let me highlight
Be
that.
a part of it.
Yeah, let me make sure that you get the most recognition and the most support to do what you do best. And then that way, when everyone's working at their best, before you know it, you have a nation that's talking about mental health without fear, without stigma, without shame, and you have a healthier society. You have less suicides, more happiness, more people living to their high potential, and because of that, the whole nation will evolve. Will evolve, and we will resonate at such a high, because Sri Lanka is such an amazing country. You go anywhere else in the world, our top CEOs, our big shots are all Sri Lankan, because we all have that, and we all have that. It's our own demons that sometimes hold us back. And in Sri Lanka, unfortunately, there's such a huge stigma around that. So, it's a responsibility that I have really taken to heart. And on days that I'm really overwhelmed because I'm trying to do everything at the same time, plus, all the work I do as an artist as well, on top of that with the foundation and the ICU campaign. Like my team, sometimes they're like, Stephanie, we're going to sit you down, sing the ICU song and tell you about it because your mental health is going. I'm like, yeah.
Because you're just so invested in what you're doing.
So invested. And the thing is, like, so this is my little plug. Please, if you want to support us, do come and support us. We need partners because I've gotten so used to just doing everything myself.
Yeah.
I've funded everything myself over the 12 years.
But you can make a greater impact with more collaboration.
100%, especially on a national level. I'm not earning that much yet, so
to expand your network. Yes.
Soon I will. I'm working towards it.
And we hope you the best.
Thank you. So yeah, just know that you're not alone, whatever you're going through. We're all human. We all tick the same way.
Yeah.
We may wear different hats, but at our core, it goes, if you cut me, will I not bleed? It's the same thing.
We are flesh and bone and blood.
Yeah. And heart.
Amazing. I think that's the perfect conclusion to today's episode on Power Moves. My guest, as you know, was Stephanie Siriwardhana. She was very open about all her struggles, all the obstacles that she had to overcome in her very illustrious journey from media to pageantry and also social advocacy. We wish you all the best, Stephanie. We wish you infinite grace in what you are achieving and also
that's so sweet.
That is awaiting you in the coming years. Thank you very much for joining me on Power Moves. We hope to see you soon again, maybe on a different episode of Power Moves. Until then, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jayama. It was such a pleasure.
Amazing. Thank you very much to our audience also for joining us on Power Moves. We will be back with another episode with yet another interesting personality very soon. Till then, take care and stay safe.